need some support.
What? That's the only reason why I ain't saying that he's emotional. Because that long inauguration speech you gave toward the end.
I know you're not talking about me. Why you bring that at me when Nakia have a whole damn dissertation?
Hey, Nakia had to make up for what you just said. You
need to be on my team.
Like, oh, Lord, we don't never get out of here. I'm in a Baptist church service.
Oh, y'all better not start clowning me on tonight.
Man, look, we supposed to look. You were the one talking about.
Let me get on mute.
You were the one who talking about we gotta do an hour. We gotta do an hour. I'm like, okay, it's 2 doctors on the panel. I ain't know if she was doing her thesis statement between me and Dr. Shauna. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, God, dog, boy, we gotta grade this. You know what I'm saying? And then I was Melvin. Like, okay, you know what? I understand her uncle. You know, I let it go.
Melvin. You know, Melvin. Hey, Melvin, look.
Look, my light went out. I was like, God, we've been on that long. The light went out, man.
That's why your camera fuzzy. Your camera know you full of crap. Don't nobody want to hear what you got to say, Doctor. And you know, when the kid, you are my friend, you are my sister. I need you on my team. Okay,
I know you love Uncle Mike, but he about to fall asleep in that chair. He had put the dog down and everything. The kid, he had put the dog down and everything. He had the dog go to bed and everything. She's still talking. The dog had left. You feel me? The dog up here. Vawn started talking, the dog left. The dog, he put the dog down. The dog went on in another room.
You know what? Both of y'all know y'all like to me talk, and it don't matter what y'all think. The audience like what I had to say. I was quiet the whole time when all the shit over here by myself and trying to be the tech person. Ain't nobody said, Vawn Gretta, do you need some help with a banner? Do you need some help with some technical stuff? Vawn Gretta, are you okay? Can we serve? Can we help you do this? No, y'all just sit there, look at you, doing whatever y'all want to say, and that's.
Hey, look, Nakia. Liz started crying with her, hoping that would dry her up so she can go. We can go. She's just like, oh Lord, let me go ahead and help her out. You know. Liz like, oh Lord, let me help her out so she won't feel like she got herself. So we can get on up out of here. Boy.
Wait, stop. She's about to cry right now.
Lord. I was trying to look sad, you know what I'm saying?
Melvin, you weren't feeling sad for me?
I was trying to feel sad. I did for the first 3 minutes.
You weren't sympathizing with me?
The first 5 minutes, I was sad for you. And then I was like, you started
crying. I didn't talk for 5 minutes. I talked for like 2.5 because I timed it. Secondly, Nakia, for real? Yo, for real though.
No, that was 2 minutes.
I got your back, sis. I got
your 2 minutes. No one or 2 minutes.
This is how it works, everybody, when you are in control of the technology. Aha, isn't that beautiful? These buttholes right here.
I can text it.
Wait.
There were no 2 minutes. You know that go where there were no 2 minutes.
Wait. He says, why Melvin like real clear?
How come you ragging on me? And Nakia had longer stuff than I did in her script. She talked more than anybody else the whole show. Why gotta be me? Why y'all teaming up on me?
She's actually directing the questions. She's actually supposed to
she's directing the questions, but she's throwing my questions too. And you had that. You should see the script. It's like 3 pages for her. Why you gotta? You know what? I'm not salty.
Wait a minute. Wait. Hold on.
I'm going.
Wait. How did the attack get on me? Because I ain't saying
you laugh and I'm bringing it to you. And you know what, Melvin? Shut.
All I'm saying is, she will answer the question.
You love me, and I'm your friend, and
the question.
I need you on my
team. She was directing the question. She was directing the panel.
You know what? This show is not about. I mean, I just had a moment.
The panel.
And I was sensitive, and I'm still shaking, and I cried, and you two suckers are supposed to be my homies, and you're not even tender and loving on me.
Wait a minute, I cried.
What about me? What if I need some love?
Sis.
No. Forget your monkey, that girl. No, shit, hell no. Look, let me tell you something. Forget that.
Wait, sis. I was
Nope. We're supposed to be talking about the after show. We're supposed to be talking about we'll be grateful. I am grateful that I love myself, because clearly I'm surrounded by people who are not, treat me right.
Girl, don't say that. I love you. I do. And I appreciate you. And you know what? We could not do any of this without you.
Oh.
You and I are like this. Our partnership is like this. We have a bond that cannot be broken. Now, granted, Melvin comes along and he has some he got some comical moments. But what I know that Melvin don't know is that I have never let you loose on him. So he don't understand.
That is true.
He don't understand that just as much as he's able to give, he should be able to receive. Because I've been on the other side where I was able to hear some of the other commentary, and it's been, man, I'm just glad I'm in the middle.
Thank you, Kevin.
I stay silent.
Thank you, big sis.
We do love you, Vawn. We love Vawn.
Get you two cameras for laughing. I ain't even listening to you no more, Nakia. You just thank you, Pammy. Thank you, Kevin.
That's okay. We love you too. So we can't get jealous because we're already.
Ain't nobody asked you, could you get jealous? Ain't nobody even saying nothing about jealous.
Why are you getting defensive, sis?
I'm not getting defensive. I'm like, why are you talking? Why are you throwing words like that out?
Let your tongue.
Your eyes big.
Because they are.
Yep.
Why your head big?
You put that one on yourself, sis. You did that one yourself. Okay.
You got blue eyes.
I love y'all. This was okay. So, with all seriousness, this was.
Oh, now we gonna be serious. Y'all show your ass for the first 15 minutes, and then y'all. I be trying to stop cussing, Lord, but the people I'm surrounded with won't let me.
I can't stop. Y'all know that's my weakness. Laughter is my weakness. Okay, so
you say you're gonna be serious.
Yes, we're gonna be serious.
I don't care.
Yes, I'm not allowed to be frivolous.
Even your phone don't understand what the hell you talking about.
Okay, so this show was a very unique episode, unlike any of the other ones that we had previously.
Not you, Heifer, Pam.
The devil is a lie. Okay, let me go ahead and adjust my.
Get it right. Get it right.
Okay. Yeah. So as I was saying, he's scratching. So this show was like none other before, because all of our other shows are very light in nature. We're all engaging. It's a lot of excitement and banter that goes back and forth. Oh, excuse me.
Bless you.
Jesus, thank you. But I feel this show was so important for us to have and be able to share with the world and be able to bring content out there that people may not have considered. They may not have thought about. They may not have even wanted to think about.
Right.
But now seeds have been planted out there. And my desire is, our hopes are, and correct me if I'm wrong for speaking on behalf of each of us, that people start doing their research, that people start to discover who they truly are. And when I say truly are, it's not just where you were born, excuse me, but just where you were born, who your parents are, who your grandparents are, but your essence, your innermost being, and begin to reshape yourself and reshape your life. And whatever trauma is there, whatever areas of brokenness that there may be, for them to seek counseling and for them to have conversations about that, so they can begin to break down those walls and discover whatever internal biases they may have, because we all have bias within us. You know, and it could be based on our experiences. It could be based on what we were taught. It can be based on what we've seen, and everything that we take in through our ears and through our eyes, through all of our senses. It shapes us, and it can alter who we become when it's all said and done. And we want people to live in their divine purpose, their greatest purpose in this world, and be able to live amongst one another cohesively, and really start to love on each other, and stop the fighting, stop the line, the bigotry, the hurt, the infidelity, you know, all of everything that we experience in life. And Melvin, correct me if I'm wrong, all of what we experience in life and the choices that we make are based on and as a result of things that we've been exposed to or experienced in our past, or we observed in our history. And we may not necessarily have been the actors, but we were exposed.
How it affected us.
Yeah.
You know, how when you first heard about slavery, how did that affect you? What did that, and what kind of feelings it did invoke in you? Because 9 times out of 10, until you hear something different, or until you're exposed to something different, it's always going to invoke those same feelings every time you hear it over and over and over again. And if you don't have anybody to teach you, then you'll be stuck in that cycle of revenge, of anger, of violence, of, you know, of those types of things. Shame, which is something that I wasn't really able to bring that up. But shame is a lot of reason why we don't want to talk about it, because for some reason we feel like it's a shameful past, or so much happened to us, you know, the rapes and the molestations and the selling and the buying, you know, the hanging and you know, and not being able to be treated like a man, or not being able to be treated like a woman, or, you know, 3 white men come in your house and rape you because you black, because because they want it, and who gonna do anything about it, you know, that kind of thing. So there's a shame to it that we have to overcome, you know, as well. And that's one of the most secretive emotions that we don't pour out, because shame makes us all feel less inadequate. Absolutely. Shame makes us feel inadequate, and nobody wants to feel inadequate. Absolutely. And so not dealing with it hides it, but it comes out in other ways. You know what B Mike said about I had to go to church, you know, and so I saw my mother and my grandmother like he did. I saw them live their lives in such a way that when something was happening bad, they thank God or praise God, you know, or they would talk about God. Like when he was talking in the grocery store, or in the clothing store, you know. I mean, I know if we remember, we could remember our parents saying God's name all the time, you know. Oh Lord, this, oh Lord, that. We constantly had that going in our mind, and so. The music, and like he said, it was the music. What we listened to is what came out of us.
Right. Absolutely.
So if I no longer listening to things that gonna calm my soul or soothe my soul, and I'm listening to rap that's gonna tell me to get a gun and fight, shoot, whatever, then when a situation comes up that I need to handle, I'm not gonna revert to God. I'm gonna revert to what, you know, what was in the 90s? The wannabe gangsters.
Yeah,
studio gangsters, you know, everybody, you know, people, you know, became like that. And so, but yeah, the first time, whatever you're exposed to, until that changes, it's like a repeat in your mind.
Exactly. And
Well, here's my question. What's the next step though? We know that, like, for me, hearing about that made me go to the library and get some more books and start reading and start knowing more about the beautiful part of our history, even what we say is the ugly part, because even that ugly part, as we talked about before, makes up the whole beautiful part of it. So then we can talk about, this is how it made me feel, and not everybody is like that. To me, my personality made me go get more stuff, but not everybody is like that. So what do you do, and how do you recognize then this person is feeling ashamed about their hair, or how dark they are, or even how light they are? Because dark people are, that whole dynamic, and all of that. What do you do then? Because we've identified a lot of stuff, but then how do you work through it? What do you start doing?
What do you want to? What is it that you want to know about yourself? You got to start out with that first. Do you want to know what we talked about? Professor, Professor Williams?
Mm-hmm.
When she talked about going all the way back to Africa. If you're talking about hair, you got to go all the way back to Africa. And what that's about. You want to talk about why you wear it the way you wear it. You know what I'm saying? Then you got to talk about the images that are portrayed on you, on what looks good and what don't. If you really want to get down to the bottom of racism, man, and why people think they think, you have to read the people who started racist. You have to read what Hitler believed. You got to know that. You got to know what Stalin and Mussolini and all them dudes believed, and why they operated that way. Hitler didn't start off the way he ended. He was not that. That wasn't even who he was. So when these dictators start taking over and started putting out this stuff, President Trump said something that most people didn't catch. He talked about the racehorse theory. You know what that is? The racehorse theory? You breed the best of the best and get rid of the other ones. You see what I'm saying? That's an actual working theory amongst white supremacists. Have you ever bought a white supremacist book and read it? Have you ever sought out a book that was written by a white supremacist and read it? Well, how would you know what they think? How would you know how they go about their business? How do you know what they're doing? What happened at the Capitol on the 6th was really years of what they've been talking about for years.
Right.
What happened on the 6th didn't just happen because Trump tweeted. He incited it because it's been festering for years.
Right.
So if you don't read books like that to know things like that, how are you going to give your children knowledge of the America that we talking about if we don't know the America we live in?
Absolutely. I agree. And I want to bring up the point of, even on our jobs, like I'm told all the time, because I don't eat a bunch of fried chicken, because I don't eat watermelon. I don't I don't eat watermelon. I don't eat chitlins, pig feet, hog maws, or none of that stuff. And because I don't know all of the ethnic songs and hip hop, and I can't tell you all of the different genres. I know the music, I listen to the music, but not all of it. I can't sing half of it. But and even with movies like The Color Purple, I lost my black card to white folks and to Hispanics who knew more about the black culture and knew these things more than I did. But it's not because I didn't have the space or the opportunity to learn it. And even though I was exposed to it, because Vawn, we grew up in the same area, I was exposed to it. I knew about a whole lot of stuff, right? But I didn't carry myself to a certain standard or a certain level. I was in books. I was in sports. My mind was focused on my education and elevating myself and getting out of my community. My community wasn't bad, right? But I had goals and dreams outside of being Lamarck in Texas City, Texas. It wasn't for me to stay in that space. Now,
sis, that's why we're here right now. Right?
Exactly.
That's what we talked about.
Exactly. And people don't necessarily understand that just because you're raised in an environment, I don't mean I'm black. If you looked at the texture of my hair when I was younger, and then when I went natural for 6 years, I have a good grade of hair. I have a good texture of hair. But then people want to try to talk negatively to you about who you are or how you choose to carry yourself. But I've chosen to be confident in who I am. I chose to love who I am. And there was a point in my life when I didn't. But there's difficulties that I have on my job or on different jobs or people have on jobs and spaces. And it's like, what is your Everest was a question. Well, my Everest is the fact that I'm raising an African-American son in an environment in the conditions that we're dealing with today, who I have to try to educate him and nurture him in the capacity in which he can survive in this world once I'm dead and gone, and not have to encounter the police officers like we were talking about. I've been pulled over with mirror tint on my 2000 Honda Accord. It was like 2010, 2015. I got pulled over and going through Santa Fe because I had mirror tint on my car. My son was in the back seat of the car in his car seat, and this white cop pulled me over and was no ticket, but gave me a warning because I had mirror tint on my windows. But they were like that for like 10, 15 years. So all of a sudden now it's a law violation.
That's Santa Fe.
In my community, I've been followed, I've been pulled over, and we're talking about light skin. I've been called a house nigga because I'm light skinned, I'm fair skinned. Whereas I have 3 sisters, they're lighter than I am, but my father is a brown skinned man. So you look at people who want to identify you as the house nigga because of the way you carry yourself or the way you talk or how you articulate your words. But then you got the field nigga because of the color of their skin, because of the way they walk, because of the way they carry themselves, because of the way they articulate their words. So why can't we just be human beings? Why do we have to have these differences? And when I shared with the company my Everest about my son, and my fears and my concerns, that's my Everest. You asked me my opinion about what I'm challenged by, and that's a real concern of mine. But then they deleted it.
Really,
all the white people, Mexican people, they had their Everest, and they talked about divorce or whatever their situations were, but that was there. But then another question came up. I answered that question. They deleted my comment. And I'm like, why is it that my comments are being deleted? Because I'm talking about some real stuff. I'm keeping it real. I'm not sitting here putting no fluff out there. I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. You ask me a question, I'm giving you my answer. But you don't want to hear my voice. You don't want people to know that this is a reality, whether it's a reality within the environment of where I work, or it's a reality in the environment of the conditions of my life. And that's not cool. So you're trying to suppress my voice. You're trying to suppress me as a human being. And if this is happening in my workspace, just imagine it happening in the world when I'm out in communities. Just imagine all the people that are dealing with things like this. And unless you own your own company and make your own decisions, that's why we have to encourage people to become entrepreneurs and paint their own way and create their own income and use their hands.
But sis, even with that, you still have the people that's going to come in and work. Like, look at me. Okay, so I'm right in the middle. I'm not considered dark or light. And then I got that whole good hair dynamic, right? Yep. My hair is natural, but there are people who have tried to say something to me about me straightening my hair because my hair is naturally big and curly, but I straighten it because I comb through the thing. You know what I mean? Or I would go up with girls literally like trying to fight me because my hair is pretty. Yeah. I just walk past and pull my Yeah. We used to, or talk white. All of this foolishness. That's why I said in my dissertation that you have that whole thing where it's the black on black thing. You're infected by the racism. So now we're talking about each other's hair, and you already have people who feel bad because their hair is what white people or other people have considered nappy. You know what I mean? And they feel shame about that, and then they want to go get the long, straight hair as if that's not black. Well, look at me, And then I have a friend of mine who used to get bullied about being so dark skinned. Mm-hmm. And I also have a sister friend of mine who's really fair skinned, and black people ostracized her for being lighter skinned.
Right.
So, it's not just these people that want to hear about that. It's us doing it to ourselves. What do we do with that?
On the fullness of my lips.
It's the creative.
Yes, which are very beautiful, by the way.
We're going to get in trouble, right?
Goddamn
why my gap look so big?
Girl, if I was a dude, I would jump on them lips. I ain't lying. Wait. Stop talking, sis.
I was talking about the gap in my
yeah, you was talking about the gap in your lip. I don't know. That's one of them other moments. You just had one of them other moments. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to talk about the class of people in racing. You just went to this whole thing. You started talking about somebody's lips. I mean, that's one of them other moments. You might need to freeze yourself.
And my gap was looking larger than
so
I thought it was.
Let me run this down right quick. What Nakia said, and then what you responded to, because y'all want to be gapped up. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is that Nakia, you brought up a good point about the house nigga and the field nigga and the niggas and all everybody just running around, but those were classes created within that particular plantation. And so it was always looked upon that, hey, you're at this level, and the level we can't be at, is the level we want to be at someday. Mm-hmm. And so when you have that, and you think about how that just permeated throughout the generations, okay? Because it's always been, up until a certain point in our history, it was like that way very long time. You had blacks here, and then you had another class of blacks here. Then you had a class of whites here, and then another class of whites here. You know what I mean? And so it was always that upper echelon that was created on the plantations to keep to keep everybody in line, to let them know, hey, this is your job, and these are the type of people that do this job. And this is your job, and these are the type of people that do this job. And so, it actually, throughout the generations, we saw that happening over and over and over again. Look at anything, music-wise. As music came up, you had to look a certain way. Unless you had a special talent, you had to look a certain way to be in music or to be in entertainment or to put somebody on the face or the screen. You know how many black actresses there are out there? But Hollywood decides who's going to be the face of the new black female actress or the new male black actor. You know what I mean? It was always one at a time. It wasn't like a plethora like it is now. It was always one at a time, because those classes throughout the generations have been set at such an early time in like we say, American history, and that's the same thing for when you talk about other classes. It's always a certain type of white guy that's put up to represent white guys, or white girls, or Hispanic men and women, or black men and women, or, now we have a mixture, most people are mixed with something, what I mean, that they put up because that's the right skin tone, or that's the right hairstyle or color or wave or length or whatever the case may be. So when we buy into what media or society says is beautiful, we lose sight of what we lose sight of what's really truly beautiful to us.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. You know what? You hit on something that I actually wanted to bring up during the episode. And I think you and I had talked about it previously, Melvin, when we were talking about Rosa Parks, and there was the original woman that sat in the back of the bus and refused to get up. Mm-hmm. And then she
had a baby and she wasn't married.
And they recreated the narrative,
right,
and put Rosa Parks, the light-skinned, fair-skinned woman with the good texture hair, looking like Vawn, to sit down and they planned it. They recreated the whole experience to where it changed the narrative of who we are and what we look like. So just can you speak on that a little bit, Melvin? And I just want us to ponder on the fact that what would today look like had that original woman who was unmarried, dark skinned, with a baby, had not gotten up, and they created the moment in history at that moment versus recreating it.
It would have changed the narrative of the movement, and it would have gave power to the dark-skinned female. It would have honored her, in the sense that this is power, because they gave it to Rosa. Like I said, it was about the narrative, and because she was unwed with a child, that was in the fifth, in that time of the era in the 60s, that wasn't a good thing. So when it happened again, it's like, we're gonna use her, because she did look the part, and the background was right. The background was there. And so they used that. But if they had to use the first person, then that at that mark in history, if we wasn't so worried about what it looked like and just got behind her, it would have went the same way. But it would have gave a different, it would have drew a different narrative, written a different narrative in history, in regards to what that, what the dark-skinned female or dark-skinned male can do or can't do. But all those things, had it was a reason for it.
Yes.
And this Rosa Parks.
Yeah.
When she got jailed, you said she looked like Vawn. I was trying to find the correlation. Yes, Make sure them people know that's Rosa.
You can leave my sister alone. Her hair is the
I was
same.
trying to find a picture. I mean, maybe this one. This maybe that one right there. That I think that a younger version. I'm trying to figure this out.
Melvin.
He has lost his way, sis. So look here, y'all. I want to get ready to start talking about what we're grateful for.
Dropping pictures.
And turning loose. I want to talk about what we're grateful for, because we have some East Coast folks, including Melvin, right now, and it's 1 a.m. I mean 12 a.m.
Past
because it's certainly past my bedtime, but sort of. Y'all know I'm the later person, but it's really important for me personally to convey the whole. I'm sick of it, the racism. I hurt for it. My son was stopped, and if it wasn't for Krista being in the back seat, I don't know what would have happened to him. This man is asking him where he's going. He wasn't speeding. He just pulled him over. And if Krista didn't say something, I think she said Bubba or something like that, and he said, "Oh, you have somebody in the back seat." He was asking, does he have drugs in the car, this, that, and the other, all this crazy stuff. What would have happened to my son? And my son is a scholar and a good kid. Not to say that somebody who's rotten, deserves to be treated terribly. That's not my point. But, that's already happened to him. And he ain't been driving but for 3 years.
Yeah.
What do we do as sisters when,
You brought that point up earlier. And as a Black man being stopped numerous times, I can say that my upbringing, but it wasn't. My mom never sat me down and had this "if you get stopped by the cops" conversation with me, like a lot of people are talking about. Even to this day, I get stopped, and that's been happening since I started driving. And the one thing, like I said earlier, I know who I am, and I know myself, and I know how I was raised. And I don't, it's not like I'm sitting here going, "Oh yes, sir," this, that, and the other. But I'm just gonna be dead honest with you. And I know a lot of people might not agree with this, but I'm telling you, I'm 47 years old. I've been stopped more times than you can count. The level of respect that I have just for people, period. That being honest with folk and being respectful goes a lot farther than being disrespectful. You know, and in a lot of cases, I tell my students, in a lot of cases, the first thing y'all want to do is be combative. I say, man, a lot of times, what our parents tell us, you get more flies with honey.
Right. You catch more bees with honey than you do with vinegar.
Right. And so she didn't have to have that conversation with me, but because I knew how to be respectful, because I knew how to talk to people, you know, yes, sir, no, sir, yeah, thank you, you know, whatever question I've ever been asked, it was in a respectful manner. And I know that that's a lot of flack coming from a lot of people because they go, well, what about this situation? Or what about that situation? I don't know about those situations. I wasn't there.
Right.
You know, and I can tell you that in a lot of those situations, it could have went differently based on how you respond. Because if somebody coming at you with evil, what did V Mike say earlier? You see, you gotta learn how to talk to people. That's all I got.
He's a champion at it. When we talk, I watched him respond. What does it say?
I ain't say no more, Nakia. That's all I got.
The turtle. Anyway, so let's go into the gratitude, Nakia, so we can burn off. Is that what you want to do? That's what you said you wanted to do.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So you want to go ahead or Melvin, would you like to start? What are you thankful for? 5 things that you're thankful for?
Grateful for.
Grateful for?
I am actually grateful for both. That 2 of those things are you two for you know, trusting and believing in me to come on the show and be with you guys every other Monday. Thank you for, you know, that just thank you for that. Those are 2 things. Second, the next 2 things, of course, my family, my immediate family, you know, in New Orleans, my daughter here, you know, my daughter in Kansas, my son. I am thankful for them every day. And it's not last. I'm just saying it last, but it's at the forefront of everything I do. And that's just making the decision, because we all have a choice. You can choose to live this way or live that way. And I'm so grateful that I chose to live for Christ. I am forever, eternally humble to the constant road that's winding every single day that gets me closer and closer to that relationship, you know, deeper and deeper with him. And I'm able to share that through the gifts that he's given me. And that I can't, you know, I'm full on that.
Thank you, Melvin. Sis?
You can go.
Okay. So no, Melvin, don't do it, because I ain't saying nothing. I go first in a lot of everything, but I always try to make sure Vawn has the space to speak before me. And I mean, it's just the natural way that things have occurred with us. So
that's why I said you can go, because you do that all the time.
Thank you, sis. So for me, I'm thankful for God's intended outcome for this episode. I'm so thankful for my willingness to listen and be obedient and trust God in the content, and allow him to guide me and lead me and keep me still until he says that I'm ready and I'm prepared for the pen to the paper. I have to always be humble and thank him for that. That's first and foremost. I thank, of course, you, Vawn, for your partnership. I thank you for your love and your light. I thank you for your willingness to listen and trust me in the decisions that I make. For me to be a partner with you and lead on occasions that I need to step up and lead, and also be able to follow you and trust you to lead when there's moments that you need to step up and lead. Because even though this is a partnership, our skill sets are so different yet so similar. And we have such a balance that we can respect each other's decision and respect each other's walk and each other's character and each other's integrity, and step back away from it and not have to feel offended, not have to feel rejected, unheard. And I thank you for being such a powerful, amazing woman who can contribute and be contributed to, because there's not a lot of people who are like that and can take what I dish out and be able to still give love back and know that they're loved in the space and in the process. Melvin, I really appreciate you. I thank you for your willingness to walk in alignment with us, to humble yourself as a man who's created to be the head, but is humble enough to be willing to follow two strong-minded women, to be able to engage with us and banter with us and have just the most amazing time and still respect our craft and still respect our goal, our vision, and know that we are taking you with us and trusting the path that we're going on in this beautiful and amazing journey. I thank you, Melvin, for your wisdom and for your knowledge and what you impart in us when we are meeting together or we're meeting separately, and allowing us to see things in an open realm and see things in a greater perspective. Because although we have the mindset to think large and broad, we don't know everything. And God created this pack right here, this trio right here, to have enough wisdom and wherewithal to trust him in the process and listen for him to give each of us guidance and direction and bring it to one another and move forward, decent and in order and within a space of integrity. And thank you for being willing to take my direction, Melvin, and understand that when I speak and I'm done. And being so graceful with receiving that and knowing that it's not a challenge to your humanity and it's not a challenge to your manhood, but it's just a business role and responsibility, and what we're doing, I take seriously. So I thank God for my son, and his willingness to sacrifice the time that we could be spending together or doing something, or I could be asleep or whatever the case may be. But him allowing me the grace and the space to do what I do and not engage and not be like, oh, I'm this poor kid and I need attention, and understand that what I'm doing is not about me. It's about all of us. And my final thing is I'm thankful for our audience. I'm thankful for our contributors. I'm thankful for our supporters and those individuals that are really willing to engage with us and share our content to help us reach the masses in the world, to know that this is not a game for us. This is not temporary. And we are committed to reaching them and creating something for them and allowing their voices to be heard and shared within our platform to make a difference for all humanity, regardless of the color of their skin, their choices in sexuality, race, gender, whatever it is. But for them to know that we're all inclusive and we love everyone. Thank you, sis. Thank you, Melvin.
Okay. Well, I am too very thankful to my children because they share me a lot, and they always have, because I've always been on my grind. But in the last 5 years of recovery and rebuilding things back up and having lost everything twice within 5 years, I'm so grateful that the way the Lord has rebuilt everything is so solid and so righteous and so real. You know, I'm grateful to him. I'm grateful to my children. I'm also grateful to the Lord for doing that, for reshaping my circle and putting me around people who I know have my best interest at heart, whether I can see them or not. So in private and in public, you know, my very tight circle has my back, and that includes you both. So Nakia, I'm very, very grateful that we've been able to be friends this long. You know, I appreciate the way you take my personality and just love on it. And you're right, it is strong, you know, and it is opinionated, and it is fierce, because when I have an idea, I'm running with it. I'm pressing through, you know, cement. You know, and I mean, it's just the creative power that he put in me that I was afraid of for so long. So thank you for giving me the space to not be afraid of, as you call it, my massiveness. Thank you for holding on to it. Thank you for being so beautiful and so loving and so consistent with your love and friendship. And I've been shaking all night, you know, ever since this show started. I don't know why. I'm not nervous. I don't know. Maybe it was because my dad texted me right before we started and told me about my uncles, reminded me about the memorial. I don't know. I just been like right now I'm vibrating, and I really don't. I mean, the whole night I've hidden it, but you know, what'd you say?
You say you nothing. Go ahead. Nothing. I'm sorry.
Oh, wait. No, sis. Go ahead. Go ahead. We live.
I know. That's why.
And I'm so in love with you, Nakia. Thank you so much for your beauty and for being such a wonderful business partner and real friend. I just absolutely adore you, sis. And I'm thankful to you, Melvin, for
Melvin, you gotta act right. Wait.
You're right. But you saw how she gritted her teeth when she said that.
Wait.
You saw how she did it.
I was calling him a son of a bitch in my head. Not really.
Wait. We cut up when you first started. So we gotta give Vawn.
But you saw she looked at me then.
But then I was like, that old chicken eating nigga. Nah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, no, but for real.
Almost done.
Real. I'm gonna be for real because I have two left, and one of those two really is Melvin. Thank you for
two left.
Wait, Melvin. This is right here. Wait, them two. Hold on, where my fingers at? That one right here and this one right here is the reason why we don't get nothing done. Well, we do actually get everything done, but this is the reason why we end up clowning right here.
I didn't interrupt not one time.
And since I've been having your back. I'm like, Melvin, we were almost done. We gotta let her go on, get it in. Don't freeze up on her, Melvin.
Y'all see how they be hazing me? Y'all see that?
We love you, September.
I'm trying to talk about what I'm grateful for, and I'm trying to be sincere. Melvin, hold your lips and your life.
And you muted himself.
But he's still cutting up. Thank you for ministering healing unto my life and my family, and for being so loving and supporting and making me feel really protected and safe in every environment. I appreciate it. Even when you're not around, I feel really, really safe. Just knowing, along with Nakia, that you guys are in my inner circle praying for me and keeping me covered. I really appreciate that. And to my brothers and sisters, you guys are just amazing that watch the show. And I hope that you all know that even though we clown and they bully me, that I'm okay. Y'all just keep praying for me. And I'm going to stay strong. But
Did you
really
I'm trying to be cool, but
I'm trying not to cry. I'm really emotional right now, and I'm really feeling really
vibrating.
It is
on the world TV.
I'm sitting here shaking. I'm so full of
I'm about to have to put my hair up because I think she just did the fake cry.
I'm trying to ignore Melvin. Okay.
Worldwide sympathy. Talking about we bullying her. Man, we got real jobs, girl. You can't be saying that.
I want all the cool points in the sisters. I want all kind of cool points for this. Me disciplining my mouth for the last minutes that we have been on this thing. I have been very well behaved with that one.
Yes, you have.
Right? Okay. But I am. So I really am extremely emotional, and I could bust out crying right now.
But I can't let you do that because then I'm gonna bust out crying. Because I was trying to
hold it. I do it when I go pray in my devotional time. I've been holding it in for a while.
I know.
And maybe it's because of my uncle. I didn't get a chance to talk about how he didn't have any children because of the movement and all of that. The love of his life died. He followed her life all his life. She left him because it was a mutual decision. Because they didn't want to have children and have a mark on his back, their back, and because he lost the love of his life because of his sacrifice to save ours in Houston. And I know that. And then of course he died because of COVID. He was in the hospital, so we couldn't even go visit him. And that hurts me. So I guess it's been, my dad has been working on the military service because we couldn't have another service. So I'm just feeling that moment tomorrow to have to go face that.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, thank you guys for making me laugh and smile. I think this was a wonderful, I think this episode was everything we wanted it to be. We wanted it to be educational. We wanted it to be fun. We wanted it to be informative. We wanted to not hold back. So we spoke about the things that were difficult, like the whole, riot and Trump situation. We talked about the trauma involved with how we see ourselves as Black people and how we're being taught it and faced with it when we first enter institutions. I didn't get to mention how even as a master's student at University of St. Thomas, we as a master of music student, we only spent 2 seconds. We only spent 2 seconds on that whole learning about our history. So I really think we scored with getting our point across tonight, and I think it was quite successful.
You grateful? That was a grateful point. You grateful for that?
You know what, Melvin? Don't start me now. Don't make me. I've been sitting on my tongue.
You went to the.
This is the Nakia and Vawn Gretta show. You understand, resident therapist, because it's all psychology.
I do like that. I like how I like that.
I'm sure you do. 916.
It's very catchy. It's
I'm just trying to figure out what is grateful. You grateful? I mean, I didn't understand.
You like it. And with that said, everybody,
you talking to Nakia like it? She like it? You like it.
Wait, what? I realize that I keep getting thrown in the middle of stuff every time. Y'all deflect y'all statements, and then y'all throw it on me like I'm the one that said something. I'm just here.
You like it. Like
I'm enjoying the entertainment.
How much I love each other for about 30 minutes every show. So I love you too. I love you.
Look,
I mean, I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out what. I'm trying to figure out.
I was just saying. I was okay. I was talking about the fullness of my lips and how people used to call me lips back in the day when I was younger, right?
Right.
Because of the fullness of my lips. But then I had to stop being self-conscious about God's blessing, because you got a bunch of white folks and everybody else is trying to put some stuff in.
Nakia, she said she wanted to jump in the middle of your gap when you were talking about your mouth.
Did not say that.
Rewind the tape. Rewind the tape.
But then I said, I was looking at the camera and I said, oh, my gap looked like it's bigger than.
I talked about her beautiful lips. I didn't say nothing about jumping in the middle of her gap.
Rewind the tape. Go back to about 32 minutes, 28 to 32 minutes. And then you'll hear yourself say that while you trying to play.
No, because I was saying, because I didn't realize.
Are we still grateful? Are we still being grateful?
Like being on the screen, my gap looked larger than what
nobody recognized your gap till you pulled your hair back. See, nobody recognized your gap till you pulled your hair back.
Oh, wait.
See,
Angel, shut.
Nobody even recognize that no more.
He got me. He
You know what I'm
got
saying?
me. He got me, sis.
Ain't even tell you got one.
Yo, boo boo, that sexy tuna kid, flaunt that gap. Just be walking around talking about team. You remember that? You remember the team?
He got me, sis. Though he got me.
Yeah,
I had to pull my hair back down. Woo! I had to show myself approved.
See that man going up, boo. You got turned all the way up.
I say, Lord Jesus, the things that we the fun we have,
We get work done now.
Oh, it's evident. All the work that we get done.
That's a lot of work, dude. This show was a lot of work this time. This was a lot. Hey, you guys, while you're listening, would you please make sure that when you go back and watch the healing episode, I really was serious about sending in a little clip, sending a little clip that says, this is what I, when I watched the healing episode, this is what I got from it. And, 30 seconds and send it to us, because we're going to make a collage of it for the next show. Okay, doke?
Yeah.
We'll post more stuff.
We're going to feature you guys. Absolutely. So we should have a video about that coming up Wednesday, because it's already done.
Oh, that's what we're doing. So we're going to talk for a few seconds. We're going to end this broadcast and say thank you guys for hanging with us for the after show. We're going to make this a staple to come afterwards, okay, for a little while. So we.
What is Melvin talking about?
Y'all say
so we
night?
No, just hold on.
Melvin, she was talking to the people.
We're going to make a staple moment to come and say goodnight and tell you what we're grateful for on the Real and the Raw. I hope y'all keep praying for me, Angel and Pam.
Pray for me too. Pray for me too. All of us.
Good night.
Good night.